Okay, want to talk about crypto. So we did have some news after the close on crypto as JP Morgan evidently said that they are seeing a shift to the positive side in institutional demand for digital assets. I'll bring in the crypto chart right here. Now, I won't spend too much time on the JP Morgan news or, frankly, on Bitcoin, because I do want to explain to you my bull case for Ethereum. Now, I posted this in the forum with a bunch of different charts. I also did a thread on Twitter, and I'll end up just kind of reading the thread on Twitter and showing you the charts that I'm looking at. But Ethereum has been outperforming Bitcoin, and my thought is that it may continue to outperform Bitcoin going forward because we have a lot of interesting things happening with Ethereum right now. I mean, Bitcoin is still Bitcoin. It's still the market leader. It is still the winner of the crypto wars. But there's a lot going on with Ethereum right now, and pretty much everything, for the most part, is being built on Ethereum and potentially ETH 2.0. Now, I don't want to get into wars about, well, what about Cardano and their smart contracts? Or what about Polkadot? And that's, I don't want to get into that. I just want to focus right now on Ethereum and why I think this could be just a monster trade over the next 6 months here. Okay, so this is my tweet thread. And again, I did post all of this in the stockmarketmentor.com forum. You can see it all, but just for scrolling purposes, I think it makes sense to kind of show it on here. So, since August of 2020, Ethereum and the amount of Ethereum that has just been left on the exchanges. So if I'm trading a digital asset, it has to be on the exchange. Well, you can track how many digital assets or how many Ethereum, for example, are just sitting on exchanges. And we call that the liquid supply. If you have a token on the exchange, the assumption is, well, maybe you want to get rid of it quickly because you're not staking it for yield. And you're just kind of holding it in your wallet. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that will happen, but that's kind of what the assumption is. And so as you can see, back here in August, September, the amount of Ethereum being left on exchanges has dropped quite significantly. And so right now, down here, we're sitting at about 13%. So 13% of the whole supply of the Ethereum that's out there in the world is sitting on exchanges. That's a 13% float that's just tradable. The rest is all locked up in other things. So where are they locked up in? Well, a lot of them is currently being staked for ETH 2.0. And you can see here, this is the current value of the amount that is staked for ETH 2.0. And you can see it's at an all-time high and has been only getting stronger and stronger. So more and more people are locking in their ETH to be unlocked for when the next iteration of Ethereum launches, ETH 2.0. Now, there's also $137 billion worth of Ether locked up in DeFi. Now, this can be a yield protocol. This could be some other protocol that is being used with Ethereum. So on Aave, for example, Aave is a crypto and they do kind of crypto lending. And so if I wanted to make money by lending my crypto to someone, then I would send it to Aave, a DeFi protocol, and then they would lend it out and I would get interest on that lend, kind of like a micro loan of some kind. So $137 billion currently locked up in DeFi. There's another 25% of the full float of Ethereum that's locked in smart contracts right now. And you can see that that's coming, kind of coming out of a downward sloping trend line where more and more people are locking into smart contracts. Now, there's also Grayscale, which is typically, a way that people in the stock market trade Ethereum. Grayscale, now, this is an interesting trend. They've actually been lowering the amount of Ethereum. And you can see how it's getting lower and lower and lower. So the higher the price goes, the less Grayscale actually owns. So a lot of people think, well, it's just Grayscale. They're pumping it. They're soaking up all the supply. Well, no, they're not. They're actually selling some. So this is an interesting trend. It doesn't matter what the price is. Grayscale who had been holding Ethereum for years and years and years and holding a lot of it, as you can see, they're kind of selling into this strength. Maybe they're just rebalancing. Maybe they're moving on to other protocols because they do have other, they have the Bitcoin trust. They also have the Litecoin trust. They also have a basic attention token trust. And so maybe instead of getting more money, they're just expanding their holdings by selling off some of the stuff that they currently own, a lot of. Okay, next is EIP 1559. So this is something we talked about before with the burning of ETH. And so, there's no real cap on the amount of ETH. And so if there's a transaction happening, typically what can happen is ETH is being generated. Ether is being generated based on that transaction. And what they're doing now with EIP 1559 is burning Ether. So the supply of the amount of ETH is kind of getting brought down. And you can see so far, and this has only been out for maybe 2-3 weeks, less than that, they've already burned 38,000 Ether. Now, if ever Ether is over, $3,200 US, that's a lot of money being burned. That's a lot of the supply that is not being brought back into the float to be able to be sold. So the supply is coming down. And so I kind of go on to say, with the amount of supply that's locked up, unable to move until ETH 2.0, the lowest amount of Ether on exchanges in years, hype around ETH 2.0, potential ETFs coming, and more over the next 6 months, my thesis is that we could potentially see a monster move in Ethereum. Now, of course, this is just a thesis. It's not a guarantee, but it's kind of giving you an insight on where my head's at when it comes to Ethereum and the potential of Ethereum. So I'm really, really bullish on Ethereum right now. Of course, I'm bullish on Bitcoin and all the other protocols, but I'm especially bullish on Ethereum.